Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self to ultimately create the relationships that you desire and deserve. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I will be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that's the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. I'm also going to rehook my guy here because, okay, there we go. All right, Gemini, let's jump on in. On your side of this connection, you have unlocked potentials with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. I do feel as if you see great potential in this person, obviously with unlocked potentials here. And I feel like you have a very large pull to this person. However, with this Six of Pentacles in reverse, that's an energy of seeing the potential but not receiving it. Giving more than you're receiving, just things being imbalanced in the connection. You're showing up more than they are, you're communicating more, you're being more vulnerable, you're being more honest, you're more committed, whatever the case might be. There feels like there's this lack of reciprocation going on. The overall theme for this reading is soulmate. So I definitely feel like this person plays a really important role in your life in this lifetime and just on your spiritual path in general. However, one thing that I will always mention when I see this soulmate card is to remember that we have many different soulmates in this life, and your happiness and your ability to be in a healthy, loving relationship, one that is, in alignment with what it is you truly desire, does not rely on one specific person. Okay, so just something, side note that I like to mention with this soulmate card. But I do definitely feel like there's some frustration here. Maybe some hurt happening. Now, this person has unresolved issues with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So I feel as if this person has issues that are unresolved that don't have to do with this connection, which doesn't allow them, it almost feels as if they can't approach this from like a stable or grounded place. The Four of Pentacles in reverse is kind of this energy of being, maybe having issues in other areas of your life. Yes, literally there could be financial issues that they're dealing with that are affecting the connection, but I just ultimately feel as if this person is struggling in other areas of their life, which is directly affecting the connection, which is probably adding to their ability to reciprocate here. So we'll dive into what that is all about. But in between the connection you have, it is for the higher good with the Nine of Cups here. So what is happening in this connection is for the highest good. You might not be able to understand that or fully know why that's the case yet, but I do feel as if as time goes on, you're going to start to uncover how this is actually happening for your benefit, because the Nine of Cups is about you getting what you want. Emotional kind of fulfillment here. Emotional wish fulfillment. So getting what it is that you desire, and what's going on in this connection might actually be part of the path to getting there. So a lot to uncover. Let's jump on in. All right, Gemini, let's take a look at the story. Let's see what you are dealing with. This is Gemini's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. This is Gemini's side of the connection. Ooh, okay. Queen of Cups in reverse with the Three of Swords here. I feel like you are a little bit all over the place when it comes to this connection. I'm sure that it's justified. It feels like your emotions are all out of whack because there you are as the Queen of Swords. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. You're dealing with a lot in this connection right now. This Three of Swords is an indication that you're experiencing maybe a little bit of heartbreak, a little bit of sorrow, sadness. And I feel like it's kind of got you, like there's this energy that it's affecting you more than maybe other connections have in the past, or than other connections have at all, like in your life. And so it just kind of feels like, I don't know, this is having a really, really big impact on you, that's for sure. And I feel like there's a reason for that. I feel as if there's something kind of going on below the surface, although if you know me and you know my readings, I truly believe there's always something going on below the surface, but I do very much feel as if that's what this message is kind of alluding to, because I feel like this Queen of Cups in reverse is very unusual for you. Like, you might be someone who's usually a little bit more logical, calm, cool, collected, and for some reason this connection just has you like not like that. It really does deeply affect you in a lot of ways here. Like, ungrounds you almost. All right, Gemini side of the connection. But let's see if we can figure out why. Ooh, something went down here with the Tower. Something happened. What happened? I mean, Three of Cups in reverse, Three of Pentacles in reverse, something. Ooh, yeah. What happened? This is intense. It feels like things fell apart. The connection fell apart here. I'm going to ask what happened. I may or may not get an answer until later in the reading, but what is this Tower? What happened here? What happened in this connection? I'm getting a little nosy, I'm not going to lie. I feel like every time I try to get too deep and too specific, I get pushback, but let's see. What happened here? Something very karmic. Could be dealing with an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. You definitely don't have to be, because you also have this Queen of Cups and we've seen the Queen of Swords. But this could be the Queen of Cups. Something very karmic went down. It's not telling me what, but it is definitely something to do with like a karmic cycle, a karmic situation, a karmic lesson. Yeah, because there's the past. Okay, I'm going to just keep going. What the heck happened? This is intense too, because yeah, this affected you big time here. Okay, Gemini side of this connection. I need to reshuffle. Gemini side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Now this Tower could, no, I feel like, I was going to say it could have been a lot of little things that like added up, but I feel like this is one big event here. Something that happened. Gemini side of the connection. And I want to know, Gemini, I want to know. Gemini side of... Chariot in reverse, the Ten of Pentacles. Things came to a halt. It feels, yeah, because there's the Four of Swords, there's the Ten of Cups. It's like things were headed in one direction here. Just moving along, headed in a direction, and then something happened, like car crash, kind of, something exploded, something went down, because this is where you felt this connection was headed. Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, long term. And then the Chariot in reverse. Like, I hear like squealing of brakes slamming and like a crash. I don't know. What the hell happened here? Okay, well, maybe we'll never know. I mean, obviously you know what happened, so I guess that's all that matters. I guess I don't need to know what happened. But okay, let's see. I've seen the Seven of Wands twice now. I don't know. I don't want to keep trying to. I feel like that's me focusing on maybe what doesn't truly matter here. So let me see what they've got going on. Let's take a gander at this person's energy. This person's energy toward Gemini. Unresolved issues with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. This person's energy toward Gemini. Ooh. Okay. They okay, the Five of Swords is this energy of like defensiveness, kind of pushing people away. I can't, having trust issues, can't really let people in. This came out here. It's like this person, they put up a wall. I don't even think they put up a wall. They put up like a freaking fortress here. And I feel like it kind of happened out of nowhere. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Is like, if you're familiar with attachment styles, if you're not, heavily recommend looking into yours and just learning about all of them, because oh my gosh, it can help your relationships tremendously. But it reminds me of like the anxious attachment style with the avoidant attachment style, where like you're dealing with someone who is being very triggered by like the avoidance pulling away, because the avoidant attachment style is, having a hard time with allowing people, wanting to be close to people, but having a hard time with letting people in, getting easily spooked, like hyper independence. And so whenever they start to feel someone get too close, their trust issues come out, their trauma comes out, whatever the case is, and they pull away, and it can seem like it happens out of nowhere, which then causes this anxious attachment style, which is typically the person that struggles with being a little bit more insecure in relationships, needing that closeness, but feeling a little bit insecure about it. And so they like latch on to the avoidant even more. And the more that they attach, the more the avoidant pulls away, and it's where you kind of get the chaser-runner dynamic. That's what I feel like kind of happened here. Things are moving along smoothly. The avoidant was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm starting to feel, they kind of have these fears of being trapped. They have the fears of losing their independence. And so they start to pull away because they don't know how to handle their emotions and like work through it. Probably haven't had the therapy, the self-awareness, the emotional intelligence to address those things. And so they react, which is going to be pushing people away, putting up a wall. And it all comes from past stuff, which makes sense because they do have unresolved issues. It's like it keeps them, with the Fool in reverse, it's like it keeps them from being able to fully start something real with someone. Like they don't ever fully commit. They're always like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Kind of feels like what this is. I will say I think avoidant attachment styles oftentimes get confused as a narcissist. I'm not saying that this person isn't a narcissist. I don't ever diagnose on my channel, but I've only pulled one card, so I'm going to keep going. I feel like that Five of Swords says a lot about what's going on here. This person's energy toward Gemini. Triggered. Yeah, they were triggered. Triggered by this. Triggered by communication, maybe. Something you said. Not that you said something wrong, necessarily. Maybe, I just feel like they didn't know how to handle. Because avoidance, and I feel like I'm committing. That's what this feels like. I'm committing to that kind of example, because they typically, they don't know how to express their emotions or their feelings. So when other people do it, it's very, very overwhelming to them. Because they don't know how to handle their own emotions, so they definitely don't know how to handle other people's. And it's like they start to feel a lot of pressure, and they don't know how to handle that, so they withdraw, they pull back. And I feel like that's what leaves you so over the top confused, because in your mind everything was fine. I feel like you were like, things were good, like we were chugging along, like we were happy, communication was there, vulnerability was there, and then all of a sudden just flip the switch. And it's because this person got triggered. They didn't know how to handle that because they haven't dealt with their own stuff. A healthy connection really does take two people who are willing to have that self-awareness and that ability to look within themselves, and they've handled, they've kind of dealt with their past. Now, healing's a lifelong journey, so I'm not saying two people who are fully healed, because that's not really realistic, but Two people who are aware of their trauma, aware of their triggers, who have learned to kind of deal with them, recognize them, and don't allow them to completely control their decision-making in connections. Well, this person has obviously not done that. Now, I'm not going to speak for this side of the connection yet because I'm not seeing how you're responding to this. So we'll see. But I definitely feel like, I feel like there's a lot more going on below the surface, which I feel like I say in all my readings, but than just what this person is doing. There's reasons for it, and those reasons don't really have anything to do with you. But seriously, do research on attachment styles. It completely changed my life. This person's energy toward Gemini. It took me a very long time, and I'm still learning how to create and sustain secure attachment. So it's a process for sure. All right. Oof. See, here's the thing. On this person's mind, I feel like it's easier for the connection to just end where it's at now than continue down the line, continue to deepen, continue to get too close to where it's going to hurt later on. Like in their mind, it's either I leave now and get hurt, or I continue to invest in this and I end up getting more hurt later on. So I'd rather just withdraw. I'd rather pull back. I'd rather stop trying and just kind of let the connection end because it's going to hurt, but it's going to hurt more later. I just feel like this person, because there's a Four of Pentacles in reverse. They're completely reacting and not responding here, which is like the number one reason why we need to heal, is so we learn how to respond whenever we're feeling triggered or overwhelmed instead of react, because our reaction is typically what sabotages us. It's what pushes away the good and what keeps us chasing the not so good. So I feel like, and that to you might be like, well, so they don't give it, they don't care. I don't think that that's it at all. In fact, I do feel like they really care. I feel like that level of which they care is what freaks them out. And again, they don't know how to handle that, so they completely withdraw because, well, that's what's easier. And you might be asking, then how the hell is this happening for my highest good? I don't know yet. Let's just keep going. All right, this is Gemini's side of this connection. So, what else? Gemini's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. You're conflicted here. You don't know what to do. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I try? Should I give them another chance? Should I walk away? Should I keep investing? And especially because this connection could have ended, but you're still kind of feeling like, do I continue to try? Do I try to get this person back? Do I let it die? Or you're in it and you're not knowing what to do. But what the hell? Oh, sorry, I completely forgot about this tower. So I feel like the tower was them pulling back in some way. And depending on your situation, it could have been like intense, like they walked away from the connection altogether, or it just kind of happened and you were like, what just happened? I feel like you want to make the best decision for yourself. Like you want to choose yourself, you want to walk away, you want to create distance, but it's really hard because you keep feeling very pulled back to this. I feel like a lot of that has to do with the potential that you see and kind of the soulmate-based connection that you're experiencing here. I just saw the Queen of Wands, by the way. So we've seen all of the queens. So you could be dealing with literally anybody. But you know who you're dealing with. I feel like, I don't know, it's like maybe you know what you should do, but you're having a hard time doing that. I'm just going to keep pulling. Gemini's side of this connection. Maybe we can get some clarity on this tower. Because it feels like what it is this person is like, yeah, there it is. All right, the Empress in reverse, Two of Swords. It feels like this person isn't fully capable of being what you're needing. Like with where they're at in terms of their emotional intelligence, their level of self-awareness, like it just feels like they don't have what it is that you would need. Now, you might be asking yourself what you don't have that they need, but I feel like that's kind of that projection mirror thing at play, because I feel, and I have learned that if you show up in the best way that you know how in any connection, in a friendship, in a romantic relationship, whatever the case is, and that person, you experience rejection or they push you away or they don't show up for you, that is absolutely zero indication of your value. That doesn't mean that you're unvaluable. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That doesn't mean that, who you are is wrong. It literally just means that that person and you aren't aligned. Now, here's the thing. I feel like we talked about how you're conflicted in this connection. I feel like if you're going to break down the decision, it's, do I choose myself or do I continue to sacrifice my needs? I feel like that's kind of where you're at here, and why, because I feel like you're like, do I choose myself, walk away, create distance, set a boundary, whatever the case is, or do I continue to sacrifice my needs out of hopes that this potential eventually manifests? One of the things that I talk a lot about on this channel is we attract what we give. What we invest into our reality is what we receive more of. So if you invest coming from a place of sacrificing your needs, sacrificing your boundaries, not choosing yourself, you're gonna continue to experience relationships that do the exact same. If you're not prioritizing yourself, you're not gonna be prioritized. If you're not standing up for yourself, you're not gonna be stood up for. If you're not choosing and loving yourself, you're not gonna be chosen. You're not gonna be loved in the way that you deserve. And it really does start with us, and the fact that we really do teach people how to treat us, and we teach people how to treat us by what we are and are not willing to accept. And when you say, I am not willing to accept, and you set a boundary with someone who isn't providing you what it is that you need and require in relationships, because you deserve to have those things met. When you set a boundary, that person is going to respond in one of two ways. They're either going to respond to that boundary by saying, I see your value and I am willing to rise to the challenge of doing what is necessary to be able to be in your life, or they're not. And if they do not, that is where you have to continue to respect your boundary and say, okay, then I have to choose myself. Now, the hard part about that is we have to recognize that other people not meeting our boundaries, again, doesn't determine our value. If someone says, I am not going to meet that boundary, that does not mean that that boundary does not deserve to be met. Now, the one thing about boundaries that I talk, that I feel like people don't talk a lot about, is that if setting a boundary is basically your way of saying, I know what I bring to the table, I know what I provide in a connection, and I am deserving of receiving that exact same thing back. So if you can't provide me with that, then I have to take my energy and my efforts elsewhere. But the caveat to that is making sure that you are showing up in the way that you wish to be shown up for. If you're asking for vulnerability, are you being vulnerable? If you're asking for communication, are you communicating? If you're asking for honesty, are you being honest? And if you can say with 100% certainty, yes, I am showing up, I would be happy being in this connection with me, I would be happy in this relationship with me, then you need to know that you are deserving of having all of those things reciprocated. So there are two sides there. But that's why boundaries are so important, is because it's your way of saying, I know my value and I deserve to have that reciprocated. All right. One more for Gemini's side of the connection. Oh my gosh, who are all of these people? Queen of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, and the Emperor. I still feel like this is their energy, or it's coming from their energy. I feel in your mind, because of the potential that you see here, you believe that if this connection doesn't work out, if this person doesn't open up, then you will never receive what this connection could have been. Meaning that it's either this person or no one. I feel like that's why I opened up the reading talking about that soulmate card. I have a bit of a bone to pick with this like twin flame concept that's running around the spiritual community, and I can say this because I got involved with it. And there's this idea that there's one person, this mirror of your soul, and you and this person can experience true love together and nothing can ever beat it. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that that is completely untrue. I have experienced that pull and draw towards someone, and I've experienced healing from that connection. And I can tell you that the healing and the indifference that comes with that healing is so much better than that connection ultimately coming together. Now, one of the things that I've learned is that when there are people in our life who play a very deep role, they push us to heal, they push us to grow, they push us to see ourselves for who we really are. And those people are so important for our own individual journey. I look back at that connection that I had, and I'm so very thankful for it, not because of the connection itself, but because of what I learned and how I grew and what I've been able to attract because of that connection. The relationships that I now have, the life that I now get to live because of the experience that that connection gave me. However, I spent a lot of time being very caught up in the connection and believing that if I didn't receive that connection, I was never going to be happy. Come to find out, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers, and the best thing that ever happened to me was me not getting what I wanted in that moment and being where I'm at today. So when I tell you that there's never one person who is fully in charge of your happiness except for you, I seriously mean it. So if you're spending your time kind of waiting on this person to be someone different for you, to be who you need, to be what you deserve, then you will spend a very, very long time waiting, because they are not the ones who get to decide that for you, Gemini. You are. You get to decide that for you. You get to decide what your value is. You get to decide what you deserve. And you do that by what you're willing to accept and not accept in your connections. And I think that in kind of that twin flame mindset, we have a tendency to label someone and say, I need this person to love me, to value me, to see me for who I am, or else I'm never going to be happy. And we basically in that moment are giving over all of our power to be happy, to be loved, to be abundant. And we give it to them and we say, your choices and your decisions directly affect my ability to be happy. And that is never true, but we make it true for ourselves. And then when they don't make the decisions that we want to make, we start to feel even more unlovable and unvaluable and not good enough, because we are completely dictating our ability to be happy based on somebody else's decisions. So if you are someone who is dealing with a connection like that, where you are waiting for somebody to change, waiting on someone to open up, waiting on someone to grow, waiting on someone to be something different than they're showing up as today, you need to take a look and say, am I giving this person way too much power over my happiness? And if the answer is yes, what do you have control over? You have control over your boundaries, you have control over your decisions, and you have control over the way that you respond to what they are giving you. You don't have control over anything that they do, their movements, choices, decisions, actions, nothing. But you have control over how you respond and what you do based on what they give you. And I feel like for whoever I'm talking to in this reading, there's this energy, right, of being conflicted. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I choose myself? Do I continue to try? And I can tell you with 1,000,000% certainty that choosing yourself is always the best option. It is not selfish to choose yourself. It is selfish to continue to sacrifice your needs and expect somebody to change in order to meet them. Okay? I can say this from experience of being there. So I get it. No judgment in my readings ever, but I just feel like there's a little bit that needed to be said there. Okay, this person's energy toward Gemini. I feel like I really just went on a tangent there, but it was flowing, so I'm just kind of letting it happen. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini. What does Gemini need to know about this person's energy toward them? The Tower is their running. There it is. I figured that I was going to get an answer. The Tower is their running. I mean, they straight up, they bolted. They said, got to get out. This person's getting too close. I'm getting too many feelings. I got to go. Now, again, that either happened in a very dramatic way where they were like, they ended the connection, they kind of left your life, or it happened in a way where they just kind of pulled back and were slowly trying to let the connection die. Oh, that sounds really sad. I feel like, I think that that's what's so hard about, and I definitely feel like you're dealing with someone who is avoidant here, because that is when you're dealing with someone who is fully stuck in how they can survive instead of how they can be fulfilled? How can I survive? How can I get, how can I protect myself? Which I saw all of it with the Five of Swords. Like, that card said so much about this person. And now you're saying the Knight of Swords. They're running. They're pushing you away. They're triggered by the way this connection is happening. And so, yeah, I mean, and all of this has to do with stuff that has nothing to do with you. Past trauma, past relationship issues, limiting beliefs about themselves, which literally doesn't give them, with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, the foundation to be able to be what you need. So, again, it has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your value, nothing to do with your worth, and there's nothing that you can do to make them change. I think that's the hardest thing I've ever had to learn. There is nothing we can do to make people see that they need to change. People change on their own, in their own time and in their own way. This person's energy toward Gemini, and you don't need this person to change in order for you to get what you want. Okay, that's like what's happening here. It is for the higher good with the Nine of Cups. What's happening in this connection is part of the path to you getting what you want. So you can still have what you want. This person's energy toward Gemini. I do feel like this person has a deep role in your life spiritually. Oh, okay. Ten of Cups in reverse. Three of Swords. See, they saw the potential in this. They see the potential in this. Because to you, you're like, oh, they don't care. And I said this already, I actually feel like they care very much. And I feel like that is what they don't know how to handle. Because with this Ten of Cups in reverse, they definitely saw the potential in what this could be. They saw everything that could come from this connection, and they didn't know how to handle that. With the Four of Cups here, it's like the universe is handing them, unconditional love on a silver platter. Here you go. Here you go, Gemini. Here's the relationship you want. And Gemini's going, no, I think I'm going to go ahead and focus on things that don't really matter. And the universe is like, are you sure this is the relationship that you wanted? And this person's going, no, I'm good. Thanks, though. And then, because ultimately it's like, we as human beings have a tendency to actually be more afraid of what it is that we desire and be more, we actually tend to choose what we're used to. So we prefer the lack and the limitations that we've experienced in our life over the possibility of what could be. We prefer a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And when we're not aware of that, we will actively choose what isn't good for us. We will self-sabotage, we'll push away the good, and we won't even try, we won't take action towards things, or we'll chase what isn't good for us. It can go both ways. But I feel like that's kind of what is happening for this person in this connection. They see this potential and they're like, oh, look at what this could be. I should probably ruin it. And I don't feel like they're doing this consciously. I don't feel like this is a conscious decision-making kind of ordeal. I feel like this is completely, again, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious patterns, what we prefer because of what we're used to. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality is actually conscious level decision-making. So this person is straight up just choosing what they're used to, choosing to sabotage, choosing to run, choosing to push away love. And none of that has to do with you, Gemini. None of that has to do with you. There's nothing you could have done to make this person treat you better, show up for you, be more for you, because they're dealing with their own stuff that doesn't have anything to do with you. All right, one more. This person's energy toward Gemini. You are not here to heal or fix anybody else. This person's energy toward Gemini. Okay. Something in my eye. All right. Knight of Wands in reverse. Lovers in reverse. Same old story. Self-sabotage, feeling unlovable, being afraid, therefore lacking hope. I think that and I talk about this all the time, your perception is your reality. When you are determined to make something work, you're going to see reasons to make it work. When you're determined to push something away, you're going to see reasons to do that. You're going to see everything that's wrong, all of the reasons you should run. I actually dealt with this when I first attracted my current partner into my life. Hands down, the best person I've ever, I would say dated, but met in my life. Seriously, the most genuine, authentic, man ever in the world, I'm pretty sure. And when he came into my life, I was so used to chaotic love. I was so used to toxic love. I was so used to bare minimum love that I literally didn't know how to handle it. And every single fiber of my being wanted to mess it up, wanted to push it away, wanted to find reasons why I wasn't good enough or he wasn't good enough. And luckily, by this point, I had done enough healing to be able to recognize that that's what I was doing, so I didn't do those things. And because he is such a good person, I was able to communicate all of this while it was happening, and he didn't get defensive or offended. He helped me work through it, actually. And I, have learned that we as humans, we have a tendency to push away what's good, especially when we're so used to not experiencing it. And for so long, I chased what wasn't good for me, trying to turn it into something good, and pushed away what was good because I didn't know how to handle anything different other than unhealthy love. And so I say that because I do have empathy for this person. I've been there. I've been in a place where I didn't feel lovable and I didn't feel good enough and I expected to get hurt. And therefore I tried to do what I could to control the situation to not get hurt. So I get it. And, I've talked about this before, but a lot of the reasons why I love doing these readings is because I've been this person and I've been this person. I've been the person who chases love and I've been the person who runs from it. I've been the hurt person who hurts people, and I've been the person who tries to chase, fix, and heal hurt people. So I get it, and I can have empathy for anyone who is both here or here, but I can also tell you that it took a lot for me to learn that my trauma and my past and the reasons why I, did push other people away and sabotage, genuine love, none of those were ever anybody else's burden to bear. It was mine to deal with, and I needed to take responsibility for those things. And the same thing goes for when I was over here. I was always so angry at people for not changing or not being what I needed and deserved, when in reality I spent a lot of time trying to get people to change, trying to get people to be what I needed and deserved, instead of just accepting people who as they were and making the best decision for me. So a lot in this reading. We're going to hop on over to the extended. You have It Is for the Higher Good with the 9 of Cups. I'm going to pull 9 different messages looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. But first, I am mentioning this at the end of every single reading that I have. I am hosting a How to Attract the Love That You Desire and Deserve workshop on April 5th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It is a live event taking place over Zoom, not on YouTube. However, you do not have to attend the live event in order to watch the event, because I will be sending out a recording the next day to every single person who purchases a ticket. So a ticket purchase is required. The information for that is in the description box below. I think right now I have like 27, I can only have 50 people in this workshop, and I think right now I'm at 27, 28-ish. So I'm just kind of keeping you guys updated on the numbers, just in case you are kind of on the fence about whether or not to purchase a ticket. But all of the information for that is at the top of the description box below. If you have any questions at all, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is and always will be in the description box below as well. Otherwise, thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Gemini, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.